I welcome you to this session in entrepreneurship. We'll be going through Unit 3 today. The objective of this particular session will be trying to understand different types of entrepreneurships. Notable amongst them is social entrepreneurship, rural entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurship, group entrepreneurship, strategic entrepreneurship, techno-entrepreneurship, education knowledge entrepreneurship, and we'll try to see the differences that lies between these different types of entrepreneurships. So we will go through each of these types of entrepreneurship, the various dimensions of entrepreneurship in this session. As we have discussed already, that entrepreneurship is one of the resources that economists categorize as integral to production. The other three being land or natural resources, labor, and capital. An entrepreneur combines the first three: land, labor, and capital. First, he combines these three to manufacture goods or provide services. They create, the entrepreneurs, they create a business plan, they hire labor, acquire resources and financing, and provide the necessary leadership and management to the business. Economists have never had a consistent definition of the entrepreneur or entrepreneurship, though the concept of entrepreneurship existed and was known for centuries. The classical theories and the new classical left entrepreneurs out of their formal models. They assumed that perfect information would be known to fully rational actors, leaving no room for risk-taking or discovery. It wasn't until the middle of 20th century that economists seriously attempted to incorporate entrepreneurship into their models. So, to sum up this, you should know that out of the four factors of production, the entrepreneur is the most crucial and central to the production process. It assesses the gaps or the opportunities between the demand of products and services and their supplies. Brings the other three factors of production, that is land, labor, and capital, together and takes the risk. You can see in this particular graph the various factors of production, land, labor, capital, and you can see that entrepreneur is also an integral part of these factors of production to produce products or services. Okay. Entrepreneurship is seen as an opportunity for employment and income generation, which ultimately contributes in economic growth of a state. As per the classical theories, role of an entrepreneur is to produce and distribute goods at the marketplace. Economists of the new classical economic thought, they moved a step further and discussed an entrepreneur as the person who identifies new opportunity, takes business risk, and makes efforts to reduce cost of the business along with performing traditional role of production and distribution of goods. Then came another group of theorists, the Austrian theorists, who took the issues which remained unanswered by the neoclassical theorists. According to Sackel's theory, entrepreneurs have the capability of visualizing opportunities and the ability to take decisions accordingly. Added to it, imperfect information and uncertainty plays a crucial role. The Israel alertness theory basically discusses the ability of the entrepreneur to visualize opportunities. Depending on types, nature, and context of the product or service which is being considered, entrepreneurship covers a very large canvas. It is modified to suit each context and may be called by putting different prefixes with entrepreneurship, which we will discuss today, like the social entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurship, techno entrepreneurship, etc. The context in entrepreneurship, its antecedents and the consequences, you should note that they have a special significance. In recent years, the context of entrepreneurship has gained attention. As with the change in the context, its significance and mode of operations change. So we'll start with the various context-specific entrepreneurship. We'll look into their USP, their significance, and various programs of the government and other organizations that support that particular context-specific entrepreneurship. The first and foremost and the most important today is the social entrepreneurship. Now, what is social entrepreneurship all about? Various theorists or scientists or economists, they have defined social entrepreneurship. According to Gregory Dees, social entrepreneurship is which combines the passion of a social mission with an image of business-like discipline, innovation, and determination. This is a very important definition of social entrepreneurship, wherein the theories combines the passion of social mission with business. The attributes should be discipline, innovation, and determination that needs to be combined with the social mission that one has. Now, who is a social entrepreneur? According to Martin and Osberg, a social entrepreneur aims for value in the form of large-scale transformational benefit that accrues either to a significant segment of society or to society at large. Moreover, the social entrepreneur targets his or her programs at the underdeserved, the neglected, or highly disadvantaged population that lacks the financial means or political clout to achieve the transformation benefit, the transformative benefit on its own. So we can say that the goal of social entrepreneurship is to create a benefit to society and humankind. This form of business focuses on helping communities or the environment through their products and services. They are not driven by profits, but rather by helping the world around them. Before taking you further through the discussion, let me give you the case in point here today is the Grameen Bank, a model of sustainability. All of you would have heard about Mohammad Yunus, the Nobel laureate. He is the founder of Grameen Bank and he won the Nobel Prize in 2006. He found a solution to the plight of poor Bangladeshis who are unable to acquire funds to start their own business. Microcredit. he became the buzzword then. He lent $27 of his personal funds to a group of poor women who quickly started a sewing business that was able to generate enough income to help them pay back the loan, and more importantly, to rise above poverty. This idea of the idea of the Grameen Bank was born. According to Martin and Osborne, Grameen Bank sustained itself by charging interest on its loans and then recycling the capital to help other women. Having thus proven microcredit to be a sustainable method of combating global poverty, UNOS continues to inspire organizations worldwide to adapt the Grameen model to combat poverty in their own communities. Like the Grameen model, there have been instances of various self-help groups in India which foster various models of sustainability. The success of Amul at Anand in Gujarat evidently led to the creation of various cooperative societies across the country. So, examples that I can give you right now is Saras in Rajasthan, Mother Dairy in Delhi, and Arya in Maharashtra can be good examples for this. So, social entrepreneurship. What is the difference between entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship? Please note that the entrepreneur's final objective is wealth creation. However, for a social entrepreneur, wealth creation is simply a means to an end. The social entrepreneur participates in profit-seeking business ventures, if only to use the profits generated to create valuable social programs for the whole community. Here again, let me mention a beautiful case study about the man behind Amul and the Operation Flood. This has been the story of a young engineer who was born in Calicut, Kerala, and was later known as the father of the White Revolution. And he was honored with some of the most prestigious government awards like Padma Vibhushan, Magsaysay Award, and Krushi Ratna. He on 9th December 2012, but he always will be remembered for his immense contribution to the farmers, to the Amul brand, and to the millions of consumers of dairy products. The year was 1964 when our Prime Minister, Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri, was invited to Anand to inaugurate the new cattle plant of Amul. He was supposed to return back by end of the day, but after reaching Anand, he insisted to stay there to learn about the success of the cooperatives. He visited almost all cooperatives with Dr. Kurian and was impressed with the process with which Amul was sourcing the milk from farmers and at the same time helping them to improve their economic condition. Later, he returned to Delhi and asked Dr. Kurian to replicate the Amul pattern across the country. The combined effort resulted in creation of the National Dairy Development Board, NDDB, in the year 1965. Dr. Kurian took charge of NDDB and began the Herculean task of replicating the overall pattern of the working at Anand to other parts of the country. By this time, the demand for milk was growing at a very fast rate than the supply. India could have easily become the largest importer of milk like Sri Lanka if sufficient steps not been taken at that particular time by the Indian government and NDDB. Money was the biggest problem faced by NDDB during this period and was a critical resource needed to revolutionize the milk industry. So to deal with it, NDTV tried to pursue the World Bank for loans and other grants with no conditions at all. When the president of the World Bank for came to India in 1969, Dr. Kurian told him, "Give me money and forget about it." A few days later, World Bank approved the loan for NDTV without even a single condition. This help was part of an operation later known as Operation Flood, which was done to replicate the Anand working pattern across India. Operation Flood was subsequently implemented in India in 3 phases, adding around 0.1 million cooperatives and 5 million milk producers. Dr. Kurian also took several other measures such as developing milk powder, developing several varieties of dairy products, emphasizing on the health of cattle and development of vaccines, etc. In 1973, he also set up the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, or as it is called as GCMMF, an individual marketing unit of Amul to sell the Amul as a brand in India as well as abroad. He also founded IRMA, Institute of Rural Management in Anand in 1979 to pass on the gained knowledge of future generations and to place rural India on the map of the world. As a result of these combined efforts, Amul currently boasts of 15 million milk producers pouring their milk in 144 to 46 dairy cooperative societies across the country. A huge chain that has resulted in India as being the largest milk producing country today. So, why is there a growing need for social entrepreneurs? In the current economic crisis, financial pressures are exacerbating existing social problems such as poverty and unemployment. According to J. Gregory Dees, social entrepreneurship is necessary to mitigate the financial repercussions among vulnerable. With pay cuts and job losses happening all over the world, the need of the hour are ideas, innovations, creative solutions, and fresh perspectives that can cater to the changing market demand, emerging economies, and a new world economic order. So, defining the characteristics of social entrepreneurs are social catalysts. They are visionaries to create fundamental social changes by reforming social systems and creating sustainable improvements. According to J. Gregory Dees, though they may act locally, their actions have the potential to simulate global improvements in their chosen arenas, whether that is education, healthcare, economic development, the environment, the arts, or any other social field. Social entrepreneurs are also socially aware. That means social improvement, they focus on social improvement as opposed to the creation of profit. And that should be the ultimate goal of every social entrepreneur. The success of their endeavors is measured by their social impact, not by the amount of profits generated. Social entrepreneurs are opportunity seekers. They are into relentless pursuit of their goals, seeing every obstacle as an opportunity. They see every obstacle as an opportunity to develop and fine-tune their business models. They are innovative. That is, they are creative, willing to think outside the box, and ready to apply ideas to new situations. They understand that not every innovation will be a success, and they see failures as learning opportunities even as they strive for success. Entrepreneurs are resourceful. That means their visions are not limited by the resources that they have. Besides optimizing the use of existing resources, they actively expand their resource pool through collaboration with others. Social entrepreneurs are accountable. to their beneficiaries. And they often ask themselves, am I creating value for the people I'm serving? This is the most important question that they ask themselves. Do I understand their needs? This is because social entrepreneurs want to know how they are actually making an impact. They are also accountable to investors who want to know whether their contributions are indeed simulating social improvements as promised by the social entrepreneurs. So some of the examples of some social entrepreneurs of India, the most notable ones are Binoba Bhave, Ila Bhatt, Abraham M. George, Dr. Verghese Kurian, as I have already mentioned, Nand Kishore Chaudhary, Harish Hande, and a number of these social entrepreneurs have done a remarkable job for India. Binoba Bhave, the founder and leader of the Bhudan Andolan, he caused the redistribution of more than 7 into 10 to the power 6 acres of land to aid India's untouchables and landless. Ila Bhatt founded in 1972 Self-Employed Women's Association, or as it is called as SEVA, is a rare trade union of poor, unorganized, self-employed women who work as vendors, hawkers, and laborers. Dr. Abraham M. George is the founder of the George Foundation. It was established in January 1995 in Bangalore, India. Their mission is to work towards poverty eradication, promote environmental health, and strengthen democratic institutions and values in developing countries. Verghese Kurian, I have discussed at length. He was the founder of Amul Dairy Project, and you saw how he contributed to the prosperity of India. Bankar Roy is the founder of Barefoot College, which promotes rural development through innovative education programs. Nand Kishore Chaudhary is another social entrepreneur. He is the founder of Jaipur Rugs, which promotes rural development through capacity building of rural people in carpet weaving. Hari Sande, the Magsaysay Award winner of 2011, he founded Selco India, a solar electric light company in 1995, which over the years has lit up over 120,000 households to emerge as India's leading solar technology firm. Another very interesting case study, which I would like to bring to you, is the case study of Lijjat Papad. This is a remarkable story about entrepreneurs. Everyone enjoys rags to riches stories, and everyone likes tales of stupendous success achieved through sheer determination. The story of Sri Mahila Griha Udyog Lijjat Papad is all that and much more. Today, Lijjat is more than just a household name for Papad. Started with a modest loan of rupees 80, the cooperative now has annual sales exceeding rupees 301 crore. What's more stunning than its stupendous success is its striking simplicity. Sticking to its core values for the past 40 years, Lijjat has ensured that every process runs smoothly. Members earn a comfortable profit. Agents get their due share. Consumers get the assurance of quality at a good price, and society benefits from its donations to various causes. How has all this been possible? Its story shows how an organization can infuse Gandhian simplicity in all its activities. Lijjat was the brainchild of 7 Gujarati women from Bombay, now Mumbai. The women lived in Lohana Niwas, a group of 5 buildings in Girgaon. They wanted to start a venture to create a sustainable livelihood using the only skill they had, cooking. Some of their names were Jaswanti Ben Jamnadas Popat, Parvatiben Ramdas Tudani, Uzamben Narandas Kundalia, Banuben N. Tana, Laguben Amritlar Gukhani, Jaiben B. Vitlani. The woman borrowed rupees 80 from Changalal Karmasi Parekh, a member of the Servants of India Society and a social worker. They took over papad making venture, which was running in laws owned by Lakshmi Bhai, and bought the necessary ingredients and the basic infrastructure required to manufacture papads. On March 15, 1959, they gathered on the terrace of their building and started with the production of 4 packets of papads. They started selling the papads to a known merchant in Bhuleshwar. From the beginning, the women had decided that they would not approach anyone for donations or help, even if the organization incurred losses. Changlal Parekh, popularly known as Chhagan Bab, became their guide. Initially, the women were making 2 different kinds of papads in order to sell the inferior one at a cheaper rate. Chhagan Bab advised them to make a standard papad and asked them never to compromise on quality. He emphasized the importance of running it as a business enterprise and maintaining proper account. Lijat expanded as a cooperative system. Initially, even younger girls could join, but later 18 was fixed as the minimum age of entry. Within 3 months, there were about 25 women making papads. Soon the women bought some equipments for the business like utensils, cupboards, stoves, etc. In the first year, the organization was having an annual sales of rupees 6,196. The broken papads were distributed among neighbors. During the first year, the women had to stop production for 4 months during the rainy season as the rains would prevent the drying of the papads. The next year, solved the problem by buying a cot and a stove. The papads were kept on the cot and the stove below the cot so that the process of drying could take place in spite of the rains. The group got considerable publicity through word of mouth and articles in vernacular newspapers. This publicity helped in increasing its membership. By the second year of its formation, 100 to 150 women had joined the group. By the end of the third year, it had more than 300 members. The members were called as Ben or sisters. By this time, the terrace of 7 founders could no longer accommodate the members and the ingredients. So the needed flour was distributed among the members so they could would take it to their homes and make papads. Every morning, a group of women go to the Lijat branch to knead dough, which is then collected by other women who roll it into papads. When these women came to collect the dough, they also hand in the previous day's production, which is tested for quality. If the quality is not maintained, then the woman would be served a warning and they might be removed from the organization at a later stage. They have accountants in every branch and every center has to maintain daily accounts. Profits or losses, if any, is shared among all the members of that branch. They have a committee of 21 that decides how the profit are to be distributed. We generally buy gold coins, 5 gram or 10 gram, depending on the profit. Everyone gets an equal share of profit irrespective of who does that work, irrespective of seniority or responsibility. Even a woman who has recently joined gets the same share as others who have been with the organization longer. Each branch calculates its profit and divides it equally among all its members. Mumbai has 12,000 members, the rest of Maharashtra has 22,000 and Gujarat has between 5,000 to 7,000 members. Exports. Lijat papad today is being exported. Exports alone account for rupees 10 crores. They are not directly involved in exporting, but recognized professional merchant exporters place an export order. Only on receiving the full advance through a check, they begin production. Because all exports are done from Mumbai, the supply also comes from there. Export production is of the same quality as daily production. So, from the above case studies, it is evident that a social entrepreneur can assess a social problem and find a solution to eradicate poverty from among the masses and thus improve their standard of living. Next, let us move on to understand rural entrepreneurship. As all of you know, India is the country of villages. Majority of the country's population is living in rural areas. People in rural areas suffer with poverty, poor infrastructural facilities, unemployment, which may be solved with the development of the rural entrepreneurs. Rural entrepreneurs refer to those who carry out the business in rural areas, with the utilization of local resources. Rural entrepreneurship is nowadays a major opportunity for the people who migrates from semi-urban areas or rural areas to urban areas. So rural entrepreneurship can be considered one of the solutions to reduce poverty, migration, unemployment, and to develop rural areas. Rural entrepreneurs may increase the standard of living and purchasing power of the rural people and bottom of pyramid by offering employment opportunity to the people in villages. India needs rural entrepreneurs a lot. So entrepreneurship is basically, we have seen in the last few sessions, is nothing but an activity that helps in sensing the resourcing innovation and realizing the payoff through the action performed by the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is one who drives the process of economic growth and mediates the inputs and outputs of the economic system. Rural entrepreneurship can be regarded as an attempt to create the management for risk-taking appropriate to opportunity, as well as to mobilize human, material, and financial resources in order to fulfill the project in rural areas. So rural entrepreneurs discover new venture opportunities, not because they have some unusual perspective ability, but because they make conscious investments in risks, reducing current specific information. An entrepreneur may be described as a person we have seen as who has the ability to explore the environment, identify opportunities for improvement, mobilize resources, and implement actions to capitalize on those opportunities. Entrepreneurs have a well-defined sense of opportunities. Rural entrepreneur is someone who stays in the rural area and contributes to the establishment of rural wealth. Rural entrepreneurs refer to those who perform the business activities in rural areas with the exploitation of local resources. So rural entrepreneurs, they expand the purchasing power and standard of living of the people by offering employment opportunity to the people in the rural areas. This is what I wanted to emphasize, and I would wish that many individuals take up rural entrepreneurship and contribute to the growth of this nation. And the dimensions of rural entrepreneurship: farmers are already entrepreneurs as the world. They are flourishing as designers, interior decorators, exporters, publishers, garment manufacturers, and still exploring new avenues of economic participation. Here, I can mention examples of two rural women entrepreneurs. One is H. Laljikpui, who hails from a small village, Thingdwal, in the northern part of Mizoram. She runs a cattle rearing and farming business with the financial assistance and training from the Mizoram State Rural Livelihoods. In 2019, she was given a greenhouse and cucumber seeds by Horticulture Department. She only used cow dung and vermicompost for fertilizers. Some of the innovative methods that she used were application of wood ash, neem leaves solution and ginger garlic chili paste as insecticide. Now, her family's livelihood condition have improved noticeably. Her annual gross income from her farm alone being approximately rupees 5,35,800. Manjula is another woman entrepreneur from village Jodipura, Karnataka. With the help of SSG network and knowledge in millets and medicinal herb, prepared a millet mix powder and with ragi millet and other local ingredients. She realized that her millet mix had a market opportunity and decided to become a producer cum seller of it. She got training in entrepreneurship and marketing skills through Sanjeevani officials and became an entrepreneur of Arki mix powder with ragi millet and other local ingredients. So, homemade product. Arki is a homemade product, a traditionally produced health mix. Gradually, along with the millet mix, he also made other items such as sambar powder, chili powder, and so on. As her business expanded, Manjula was earning around rupees 30,000 per month, and her investment has risen 3 to 4 lakh rupees by the year 2019. The home products with brand name Arki was listed as one of the top quality products in government e-marketing place. She participated in Saras Mela held in Kolkata during November 2019, where she got good sales for her product, and also the top officials of Bangladesh who visited the event were very impressed by her product and praised her. The government recognizes that the increasing presence of women as entrepreneurs had led to significant business and economic growth in the country. Women-owned business enterprises like SS Enterprises related to trading of ferrous and non-ferrous items, Tashu marketing related to flex and vinyl printing, Vichayat Kendra related to providing tent house and other equipments required for marriage and other functions. It is playing a prominent role in society by generating employment opportunities in the country, especially for the next generation of women founders. Startup India is committed towards strengthening women entrepreneurship in India through initiatives, schemes, creation of enabling networks and communities, and activating partnership among diverse stakeholders in the startup ecosystem. According to the report published by NASCOM, February 2023, 18% of the startups are led by at least one woman founder or co-founder, indicating a rise of women leaders in the Indian startup ecosystem. The report found that between 2019 and 2022, 17% of the investment deals in India were raised by startups by women leaders. These special programs for skill development, marketing, and other infrastructure facilities will help women to start their own enterprises in new sectors as entrepreneurs. There will be more skill development and better access to opportunities for women. Equipping women with innovative methods and the latest skills will facilitate women's entry to the Make in India program. Thus, economic empowerment of women will develop in them a sense of confidence, entrepreneurial abilities, making them financially independent, leading to positive development of self and identity. So the various dimensions of women entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurs are representing a different segment of society and are taking up ventures in a wide spectrum of economic activities. On one end, they may be illiterate, doing stitching or embroidering, and on the other spectrum, may be professional engineers, doctors, or lawyers. It is a better option where they can be masters of their own. There is no age limit as maybe for a paid job, especially if it is a government job. Women are nearly 1/3 more likely to start businesses out of necessity than men. So women's entrepreneurship may be related to women's empowerment. Various programs of for women in entrepreneurship is taken by government departments. As you will note that finance is one of the most restricting factors in the way of women entrepreneurship. Thus, several measures have been taken for easy access to funding. Some of them have been discussed, like the Mudra loan for women, the Annapurna scheme, the Dena Shakti scheme, the Bharatiya Mahila Bank business loan, SIDBI, and loans by banks and other organizations, and the various schemes facilitate women entrepreneurship. Now, let us take a look at what group entrepreneurship is all about. In such a kind of entrepreneurship, leadership is transformed from one individual to who may have come up with the idea to the organized group of like-minded people, and generally with the different qualities to initiate and implement, or if already implemented at a small scale, then to scale up these initiatives. All members have different capabilities. Group leadership contributes to higher productivity and leads to the fast pace of industrial development. Following are some of the salient features of group entrepreneurship. First one is the leadership may be transferred to an expert from the owner of the enterprise. Nowadays, the market has become competitive, so competitive that it is always better if a different person is taking care of different aspects of the enterprise. There are following four stages of entrepreneurship. The first stage is ideation. The second stage is validation. The third stage is early traction, and the stage is scale. Now, what is ideation all about? It is the stage of formation of ideas or concepts. Generally happens with a single leader or amongst a small group of like-minded people. Validation, the practical evaluation of what has been thought, the entrepreneur find that this proposal is viable. Then you have the early traction, the first phase of the user of the product or service. They are very crucial. Leadership needs to be brought in. The next or the last stage is scale, wherein you enhance or increase the scale to reap the benefits of the economies of scale. Group leadership is better for enhancing efficiency. As the firm scales up, there is higher probability of becoming group entrepreneur due to reasons such as technological gap or technological upgradation and modernization, division of labor, etc., for enhancing the efficiency of the production process. So, if we take a look at the types of group entrepreneurship, there are basically two types. The first one is a highly technical production process. The second one is a self-help group. First, if you take a look at the first type of group entrepreneurship, it is highly technologically advanced and sophisticated. Each segment of the production process requires very specific knowledge, and one person may not be able to take decisions about the whole process. The second type, the self-help group type of group entrepreneurship, mainly deals with the lower segment of the society, which is generally managed by self-help groups. Being a small informal voluntary association of people, members of the self-help group join hands together to help each other in an income generating venture. The self-help groups are more flexible and informal. There are many programs for group entrepreneurship by the various government departments and corporate sector. Some of the important ones are shown in this particular slide. One very important program is the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. The Ministry of Rural Development is organizing rural poor women across the country in self-help groups through Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. Another important group entrepreneurship program is the National Rural Livelihoods Mission, or the NRLM. These women are continuously nurtured, supported to take up and grow an economic activity till they achieve break-even in earning income. Self-help groups, the second type of group entrepreneurship, are also linked to banks through which self-help groups can take loans for scaling of various livelihood activities. Along with loan, the target household are also provided capacity building and technical support for taking up income generating activities both in firm and non-firm sectors. Next, let us take a look at techno entrepreneurship. Now, what is techno entrepreneurship? It's nothing but an entrepreneur who is involved with high level technology is called as a techno entrepreneur. To sustain stiff competition, entrepreneurs are enhancing the technological intensity of the production process, and they are dealing with high level technology if they are capable of doing so. They embrace digitization, they embrace disruptive technologies and emerging technologies to drive the technological change or bring new technological breakthroughs to create new combinations of inputs or minimize resource use and to reach the customer in more efficient ways to ultimately maximize profit. So the various dimensions of techno entrepreneurship are technology has a very important role in the production process, and the entrepreneur has an advantage if he has the ability to adapt existing technology as per the need or can innovate to perform a particular function. Now here, if you take a look at this particular slide, it shows the dimensions of techno entrepreneurship. Adoption of existing technology for a particular function and the innovation to perform particular function of the production process can give rise to two aspects. You need to insert technology in the production process to reduce resource consumption, which will ultimately allow the technopreneur to sell the product at low cost, or you can use these two aspects to generate a parallel production process of the existing production process as selling products through digital platform or to enter a new domain. So there are again various programs designed for techno entrepreneurship by various government departments and other organizations. Now, let us take a look into another type of entrepreneurship, which is called as education or the knowledge entrepreneurship. There may be two meanings to this: an entrepreneurship of educational activities or education of entrepreneurship. The first type, entrepreneurship of educational activities, is quite in demand, lucrative, but at the same time quite responsible also. It can be started at all levels, pre-nursery school to professional colleges and universities for different purposes. The second type is about teaching and mentorship to prepare aspirants for entrepreneurship. As already discussed, there are four factors of production. India being a labor surplus country before globalization in 1991-92, India was having labor and capital on the one hand, but there was unemployment also due to lack of capital. However, the movement of capital has increased after globalization. That is why entrepreneurial education is being provided at the higher education level of all streams to groom college students for entrepreneurship. So the education or the knowledge entrepreneurship has special significance. For India, which is one of the youngest countries of the world. Significance has further increased during post-COVID-19 period. Opportunities have increased manifold in the sector by integrating education with information technology. Now, let us take at the last type of entrepreneurship, or the dimension of entrepreneurship. It's strategic entrepreneurship. You can also take a path in this direction of strategic entrepreneurship. The combination of entrepreneurship, it is the combination of entrepreneurship with strategy for competitive advantage and detailed plan for a better performance of the organizations. A strategic entrepreneur searches the area first for a competitive advantage. You just don't make profit once, but you try to maintain, you try to have a sustainable profit throughout for a longer period of time, and then strategically manage resource to exploit the advantage. Strategic management is organizing the whole production process for innovation to making it to the market for customers in pursuit of achieving certain pre-decided objectives to achieve in a competitive environment. So this particular slide shows you the various characteristics of strategic entrepreneur, of a strategic entrepreneur. First, you need to be capable of understanding the dynamic business environment. Second, you need to be capable of placing your entrepreneurial venture in such dynamic business environment. And the last is you should have the capability of managing resources in such a dynamic way that the firm can continuously earn profit. So as we discussed in the figure, a strategic entrepreneur needs to be capable to understand the business environment and can sense and anticipate the dynamism of the business environment and understand how the competitive environment is going to behave and how the firm is going to be affected by the changing environment. He must be able of placing his entrepreneurial venture in such a dynamic environment, in such a dynamic way that the firm can continuously earn profit. So in order to have a superior firm performance, strategic entrepreneurship may be called a combination of two skills. First, the skills to assess the opportunity. Second, the skills to derive competitive advantage in the ever-changing business environment. So the various dimensions of strategic entrepreneurship and the entrepreneur, there are two behaviors of strategic entrepreneurship. The first is opportunity seeking. The second is advantage seeking. Both do not work simultaneously, but one by one. In the beginning, the strategic entrepreneur visualizes available opportunities, and after that, organizes resources at his disposal to use efficiently and optimize advantages. Very often, it happens that an entrepreneurial venture, generally a small one, may effectively identify opportunities but not be able to design a plan to optimize advantage. On the contrary, established and experienced firms, generally large in size, may be more efficient in deriving a path to achieving competitive advantage, but may not be able to visualize and identify new or evolving opportunities. In this particular last slide, you will get to know about the behavior of strategic entrepreneurship. It behaves in two ways, like as I told you earlier, opportunity seeking behaviors, or it creates advantage seeking behavior. This actually leads to a superior firm performance and creation of wealth. So today we discussed the various dimensions of entrepreneurship and the various programs that are provided by the various government departments and other organizations to follow a particular dimension in entrepreneurship. Thank you.